Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well wherever you're watching today. We have a significant update about a potential military conflict between Israel, Iran, and that would ultimately and inevitably also drag the United States into. We're going to break it all down. I'm still almost back to 100%, still battling the last part of an illness, so I appreciate everyone who's sticking through me with that. As always, make sure to like and subscribe, hit the bell so you always know when a new video is coming. Comment with your thoughts below. And now let's go ahead and get into it. So as we've previously discussed here, the Israelis pushed the U.S., begged the U.S., and pitched all these plans to go ahead and bomb Iran and take out their nuclear facilities, their nuclear program, as Iran, the fear is, of course, that they're going to enrich uranium to weapons grade, and then they'll have nukes, and that's something that the United States, Israel, and our regional allies such as Saudi Arabia definitely don't want to see happen for a lot of different reasons. The United States and President Trump, along with J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, and a slew of other people pretty much said, no, we're not getting involved in this, we're not bombing the Iranians, and the Israeli plan could only happen if the United States went along with it. The plan the Israelis were pitching included the United States doing most of the work, carrying the load, hitting the targets with, heavy bombers, providing cover for Israeli commando teams, and then stopping any potential retaliation attack that Iran would then launch on Israel. So Trump said no. He is pursuing a diplomatic solution. They are meeting with the Iranians. They've already met with them before. The hope is that a deal can be reached that avoids military action. But we actually have a pretty significant update. And that update is, despite the Trump administration and the United States government and the United States military saying no, the Israelis might actually try a limited strike on Iran by themselves. And that's a very serious thing. So we're going to get into the report right now and then break down why this plan probably isn't feasible anyway, and it's not very well thought out from the details that we have. So let's go ahead and start right now. So this comes from a Reuters report. I'll go ahead and throw this up on the screen for you right now. The summary key points are: Israel has not ruled out a limited strike on Iran. Trump not in a rush to support military action. Experts say attack on Iran would only temporarily set back nuclear program. So let's get into it. Israel has not ruled out an attack on Iran's nuclear facilities in the coming months, despite President Donald Trump telling Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that the U.S. was for now unwilling to support such a move. According to an Israeli official and two other people familiar with the matter, Israeli officials have vowed to prevent Tehran from acquiring a nuclear weapon, and Netanyahu has insisted that any negotiation with Iran must lead to the complete dismantling of its nuclear program. U.S. and Iranian negotiators are set for a second round of preliminary nuclear talks in Rome on Saturday. Over the past month, Israel has proposed to the Trump administration a series of options to attack Iran's facilities, including some with late spring and summer timelines, the sources said. The plans include a mix of airstrikes and commando operations that vary in severity and could set back Tehran's ability to weaponize its nuclear program by just months or a year or more, the sources said. The New York Times reported on Wednesday that Trump told Netanyahu in a White House meeting earlier this month that Washington wanted to prioritize diplomatic talks with Tehran and that he was unwilling to support a strike on the country's nuclear facilities in the short term. I'm going to throw this up on the screen for you now because this is kind of the meat of the piece. But Israeli officials now believe that their military could instead launch a limited strike on Iran that would require less U.S. support. Such an attack would be significantly smaller than those Israel initially proposed. We're going to get into that in a little bit and why that's a bit of a red flag. It is unclear if or when Israel would move forward with such a strike, especially with talks on a nuclear deal getting started. Such a move would likely alienate Trump, yeah, no kidding, and could risk broader U.S. support for Israel. Parts of the plans were previously presented last year to the Biden administration, two former senior Biden administration officials told Reuters. Almost all required significant U.S. support via direct military intervention or intelligence sharing. Israel's also requested that Washington help Israel defend itself should Iran retaliate. In a response to a request for comment, the U.S. National Security Council referred Reuters to comments Trump made on Thursday when he told reporters he has not waved Israel off an attack, but that he was not in a rush to support military action against Tehran. This is a quote. I think that Iran has a chance to have a great country and live happily without death. That's my first option. If there's a second option, I think that would be very bad for Iran, and I think Iran is wanting to talk. It says an Israeli Prime Minister's office did not immediately return a request for comment. A senior Israeli official told Reuters that no decision has been made yet on an Iranian strike. A senior Iranian security official said Tehran was aware of Israeli planning and that an attack would provoke a harsh, unwavering response from Iran. So that is the new update straight from Reuters, that Israel, after Trump told them no and said the United States will not go along with this plan and will not attack Iran right now, will not attack their facilities. The Israelis, according to multiple sources that spoke to Reuters, now might make the decision to go in alone and do it. And we have some things to talk about when it comes to that and whether or not that's actually even a real possibility. So let's go ahead and get into that right now. Here's why this reported Israeli plan to go in alone doesn't make any sense whatsoever from a military tactic standpoint. In the piece, Reuters talks about how this plan would either slow Iranian ambitions by just a couple months, maybe a year. The reason for this, as we've talked about before, is the Israelis do not have the weapons to take out deep underground facilities. That is just a fact. They got F-35s, F-16s, F-15s, all very capable aircraft platforms. The F-35 being the best of them when it comes to stealth technology, as the other two planes are not stealthy whatsoever. The problem is none of those planes are capable of taking out deep underground bunkers, hardened facilities, and things like that. And most of the Iranian facilities are where? Deep underground. Why? Because that's how they feel they can protect them from bombings like this. The GBU-57, which we've also talked about at length, the 30,000-pound bunker buster that the U.S. could use to take out Iran's program and facilities, can be dropped by the B-2 stealth bomber, which the United States will never share with any nation at any point in time. We don't share stealth bomber aircraft technology. We don't share F-22 stealth aircraft technology, because whenever you give another country your planes or your technology, there's always a risk, and certainly depending on the country you give it to, that it could leak elsewhere. So the U.S. is not going to do that. So all the Israelis have the ability to do with their aircraft is take out stuff that is only slightly underground or is above ground. That could be early warning detection centers. That could be surface-to-air missile batteries. Could be other air defense systems. They could take out convoys, things like that. That's all within the Israeli skill set, and it is within their military means. All that's going to happen if they try to hit these underground facilities with the weapons they have is they're not going to do it. It's not going to work. They're not going to take them out. And then you will guarantee, beyond a shadow of a doubt, when the strike fails to take out underground facilities, you will guarantee that Iran will push for nukes. They will try to go all the way at that point. Because right now, they're right at the threshold. They've been there for years, and they use it as a negotiating tactic, essentially. I don't want Iran to have a nuke. I think it'd be terrible. The U.S. does not want them to have a nuke. But anyone who thinks that they don't already have the technology figured out is just wrong. They just have chosen at this point in time to not really hit a breakthrough threshold. So it makes no sense from a tactical standpoint that they would attempt a limited strike. If you're going to bomb Iran, you need an all or nothing approach. You need to completely take out the facilities. You can't just do limited strikes. It doesn't work. Furthermore, we got to address the fact that Trump told them no and said the United States is not going to do this for you. The United States is not going to get involved. and then here we are, that they might go it in alone. That's going to cause major diplomatic issues for the Trump administration and the Bibi Netanyahu administration in Israel. We give incredible amount of money, weapons, military intelligence to the Israelis. It's hard. It would be hard for them to explain to Trump why he told them no, and then they would then do it anyway. That would be very difficult, in my opinion, for the Israelis to be able to justify. And then inevitably what would happen is the United States would have to come in and do what we did when Iran bombed Israel previously. We'd have to come in and save them just like we have before. When Iran fired off all those missiles and drones, who shot them out of the sky? The United States military did, because we have the ability to do that. That would likely then happen again, because if you go a limited strike against Iran, there is a 100% chance they will retaliate with their missiles and rockets that they have. Some drones too, but that's not really that big of a threat. It's the missiles you got to worry about. So this, to me, makes absolutely no sense. I don't know if this is a negotiating thing to let this leak. I don't know if this is meant to signal the Trump administration. It doesn't make any sense, because in a baseline value, you can't have a limited strike against Iran's nuclear program. You got to go big. That's the only way you can get rid of it, if you choose a military option. And the fact of the matter is, the Israelis do not have the military capabilities to take out Iran's programs and facilities. The United States does. We have more than enough to get it done. The Israelis can't do it with F-35s, even though that is a great aircraft. They can blow up stuff on the ground all day. But that's a totally different animal we're talking about now. We're talking about bombs that have to be 30,000 pounds and can only be carried by long-range heavy bombers, which the Israelis have exactly zero of. So this situation is concerning on a lot of different levels. And while the United States is pursuing diplomatic solutions here to avoid a military conflict, we now have Reuters reporting that Israel is making plans to do it anyway. It's interesting. It's very interesting. I would love to know what Trump is telling the Israelis, what the Israelis are telling Trump. But I've said it in this video. I'll say it again. They don't have the military tools. And if you don't have the military tools, you're left with, half measures, which aren't going to take out their programs and facilities. And all you're going to then do is push them to speed towards a bomb. And they have breakthrough capabilities, and they have for a long time. They've just chosen to not do it because they probably don't want to get blown up. So it's very odd. It's very complex. It's very fluid. Overall, I still don't know how this is going to end. It seems like Trump has no interest in bombing Iran. He is all in on a diplomatic solution. I think that there's a great deal to be made there. But you, of course, have to have the military deterrence and a backstop, a military backstop to back up any threats you might make. So that's where it is. Again, I'm almost back to 100%. Still feeling a little bit under the weather, but doing well. The throat's coming back, but the voice still ain't great. Make sure to like and subscribe. I want you to comment below whether or not you think Israel should bomb Iran, how you think Trump should handle it. Do you think the United States should do it? Should we go for a diplomatic solution? Let me know all your thoughts below. And as always, I'll see you all next time.